Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. What's going on? Well, you can hear me throat. I've still got a bit of a cough and I've had COVID since I got back from Romania. Last couple of days I have tested negative now, but I still got a tickly throat, and it pretty much wiped me out for a few days. Did the old COVID job, the old coronavirus. But we're getting there, and now ready to talk about my events in Romania at RedBull Romaniacs in the bronze class. Now, firstly, I just want to apologise for not putting any social media videos out whilst or during the event. After day one off-road, I just weren't interested in social media side of things. I don't know what it is. With me, I'm doing one or two things. I'm either doing social media all the time or I'm riding. And generally, if I'm riding, the two don't mix until later on. And what I found in Romania was that the time to do things is short. And with everything that was going on, early starts, travelling to the start areas, late finishes, prepping bike, going out for dinner, all that sort of stuff, and then trying to get some sleep as well. Your time to do things are short, and when you try to do social media and you try to upload stuff and all the rest of it, it all takes time. And you know what, I just could not be bothered with that side of things when I was riding, when I was into days 1, 2, 3 and 4 off-road in RedBull Romaniacs. Social media just went out the window until the very end, when I got a couple of photographs on there showing that I got through the RedBull Arch and I finished the event. Afterwards, travelling back, I got COVID. Felt pretty much wiped out. Initially I thought it was just a sore throat from eating all the dust during the event, but it turned out that I tested positive, and that was on Wednesday, late Wednesday. I tested positive after coming back on the Monday morning, and then I went downhill quite a bit. I was isolating in the camper van, feeling quite poorly actually. Really felt like my throat were on fire, and headaches, really lethargic, and it's just taken a few days to come round, and now I'm sort of back on the mend. Tested negative twice now, actually third time with this morning, and yeah, we're getting there slowly. Excuse me, but you can see I've still got a bit of a tickle in the back of my throat. I think that might take another few days to clear up, but we're getting there. So that's a bit of an apology there in terms of, you know, the social media side of things whilst we're out there. Yeah, we had some updates on Hard Enduro Adventure media page, and I think there was a couple on Instagram just about things what were happening when we actually got there, and things about the prologue and stuff. And then I posted a video from my prologue run, which was it was all right. I was happy with that. I got through it safely, uninjured, and then I went into the off-road days. Now, before we start talking about the event, let's talk about the build-up to it. Now, one of the questions what people have asked me at least 5 times now is, how hard was it, Robbo? How hard is bronze class in Romania? Well, it's hard to quantify how hard it actually was, because every year it could be different, and the weather plays a big part on how hard that event can be. In 2019 they had rain of biblical proportions, and some of the guys that I know raced that year had some real issues. Didn't finish day one. I think the majority of the bronze class didn't finish day one in 2019 because of the conditions. You don't know what you're going into at times. So what I was saying in terms of how difficult it is, it depends how fit you are, how much bike time you've had before you go, what your experience in off-road riding is. Are you confident on the bike? Are you a competent rider? Have you got experience in doing some racing? You've rode off-road on multiple days, from a training aspect or from an event aspect before, and mentally, where are you mentally? Are you ready for it? Do you think have you got the there's the drive and determination to do RedBull Romaniacs. When the going gets tough, can you really dig deep and find that inner strength to get you through certain situations? Those are all the sort of things you've got to be asking yourself. I decided to enter RedBull Romaniacs last year after riding in the Summit Extreme up in North Yorkshire. It was one of those sort of split decisions. Other people were talking about it. I've always wanted to do RedBull Romaniacs, and I thought this is the time I've got the money to do it, and let's just get the box ticked and get it out of the way, because if I don't do it now I probably will never do it, because it's the sort of event I can't afford to do RedBull Romaniacs every year. It's like you need to budget £5,000 from a guy coming from the UK, bike transport, entry fee, flights, accommodation, tyres, everything what's involved to actually do the event. You need to be budgeting around £5,000, and you won't get much change out of that. Okay, so that's where you need to be to start with. Have £5,000 you can be in a position to blow if need be, because it's a big investment. So you need to know that you go in there to succeed. If you go into an event like that and you're not prepared, it's a big waste of money, an absolute waste of money. So how did I prepare? That's one question people have asked me, and the answer is really before I got started about, let's look at my status. I'm 57. I am relatively a fit 57-year-old compared to a lot of other 57-year-olds out there. Yeah, I'm carrying a little bit of excess weight, but I do have some underlying ailments, which many 57-year-old guys do, and one of those is my thyroid issue. I'm on thyroxine, permanently on thyroxine for the rest of my life, which is obviously affects my metabolism and my ability to lose weight at times. So I find it very difficult to lose weight from a fitness aspect. So the positives I take from my overall fitness are the fact that I'm strong, my physical build. I'm 17 stone. I can physically lift my bike if I need to in a lot of situations. People that I've ridden with will tell you that I'm like a bear at times. If I need to pick that bike up to get myself out of somewhere, I can do it, and I can find that inner strength to do it. So I'm a 57-year-old guy, probably above average fitness compared to other 57-year-olds out there, and I'm enthusiastic about things. I have a positive outlook about things, and if you've got that to start with, you're onto a winner, I think. So, from a training point of view, I've always done some sort of physical training throughout the course of my life, whether it's been weights, running, some sort of sporting activity, kayaking, that sort of stuff. Always been an active sort of guy. Done a lot of walks, some cycling from time to time. So I've always been fairly fit, and the motorcycling, the biking, especially the off-road biking, has helped with that fitness as well. So getting prepared for Romaniacs, I knew that I had to be fit. I knew I had to be bike fit for one. So as of last November, having sort of decided that I'm going to do RedBull Romaniacs, I bought the GPX TSE 250 as a training bike. So from the time of buying that bike right up until 6 weeks before RedBull Romaniacs, that bike was getting used week in, week out. 130 hours on the GPX over that time. I'm quite fortunate in the fact that I can go ride anytime I want. I can ride at my own track, which is 2 minutes from my house. I've got 2 venues close by where I can go to and train for an hour. Or I can travel in the van 45 minutes to go to places like Tong, just over an hour away is Calm Quarry. So riding was a key aspect of being And when I talk about riding, I talk about distance riding. A lot of the times when I was out riding, I would concentrate on doing distance. For example, I would go down to Tongue, I would do a 2.5 to 3 hour training session where I'd ride 50 kilometres around Tongue on their enduro course. So it's quite a technical course, bumpy off-road course, nothing too challenging where I need to get off and push, but it's 50 kilometres of fairly hard riding. And that's the sort of thing I did Cound Quarry as well. I'd go to Cound Quarry on a Sunday or a Saturday, ride their training loop, their enduro loop, and do maybe like 15 laps, get like 50k in, and get some good distancing. And then in between any of the riding that I was doing, I'd probably go out for a walk jog and some occasional weights. I'm not massive on the weights at the moment, but I like to go out and do a bit of a walk jog. I'd go out and do a 10k in like an hour and 10 minutes, and that'd be a mix of walking and jogging, some interval type training. So that on top of the riding as well, just helped things along nicely. I think it was about 6 weeks before RedBull Romaniacs, I had 3 long training weekends. A weekend at Werndew with the guys, a weekend at Leatherhead at Robin Scarry's place with Carl, and then a weekend at Werndew again with back with Dale Becker. On that final weekend, I was beasting myself to the point where to total exhaustion on the bike. Set myself a bit of a loop with a decent hill climb, a slow technical hill climb, that I might have to get up and push from time to time, pick the bike up. I knew that I'd be dropping the bike, lifting it up, getting all those sort of physical attributes in the riding. And then after doing the climb, go on some less challenging climbs to the top of the quarry, do some long serious downhills, as well the longest downhills that you can find at Werndew, and then do the climb again. And doing that 10 times on the bounce, feeling or sort of having the inner strength to keep going and be ready to do some more, told me that I was ready. But just like anything, can you ever be ready for a maniac? You just don't know until you get there, because you just don't know what's going to come. So you've got to try and prepare as best you can. So yeah, a lot of riding and some physical training as well built into it. So that is where you need to be. And if you can ride on a training session midweek, do 3 hours intensive non-stop riding on a bumpy track like Tongue, and not feel fatigued after or the following day, you're getting somewhere near. And you need to be doing that at least twice to 3 times a week. So you need to be doing it Sunday, Wednesday, back on Sunday. So you're doing that every sort of twice a week regularly. So from an off-road riding, cross-country type riding standard, I knew I was somewhere ready for RedBull Romaniacs. I'm not the fastest rider out there, and the objective in Romania was just to go there, enjoy the riding, and finish the event without an injury, without damaging my bike, and just enjoy it. And that's what I did. Right, yeah. So we got there, got organised. Eurotech camp was set up nicely, and the first chance I got to go out on my bike or test the bike out was the Monday before the Prologue. So I went out for a bit of a ride and felt great. I knew at that time that I was ready for it, because I've not done anything for 2 weeks. 2 weeks on the run up to the event, I've not done anything, not ridden, not trained. I just relaxed and just got myself sort of mentally prepared for what were coming. And I knew there was a practice loop, what you could do, what the organisers had put together. I think it was about a 15-mile loop, that's all, 25 kilometres. Did 2 loops of that, a bit of a play on the big hill, and I knew after doing that I felt really good. I felt fit. I felt like I had loads of energy still, and I was ready for what was coming. So we did the prologue, just over 4 minutes run time of the prologue. It's so nerve-wracking when you sat there at that start line waiting to go. And what I will say is that if you're going all that way to RedBull Romaniacs, you're investing all that money, you've got to make a decision what you want to do. And again, it's down to what class you're riding. Now, I was bronze class, and in bronze class, you do not have to do the prologue, it's optional. Likewise, with iron class and atom class, it is optional whether you do the prologue. So my advice is, you've got to be asking yourself before you even go to that event, am I capable of riding that prologue? And if the answer is, well, I probably could, but then, you know, maybe I couldn't, don't even bother entering the event. If you're going all that way, you need to be, you know, particularly from my point of view, I wanted to be part of it all. Can you imagine if I didn't do prologue? I don't think I'd ever live it down, to be honest, because all my mates were doing it. But I knew, walking the prologue, I knew I could get through that prologue without getting hurt and without damaging my bike, and I managed it. But what I will say is there were other people that did the prologue and had some very near misses, or they got injured. And, you know, why they got injured or what their ability of a rider is, I do not know, but there is ways of getting through that prologue without getting hurt, and I saw loads of people doing the prologue using some quite ingenious methods, walking the bikes over logs and things like that. Anything that you thought was a bit risky, there's always a way of dealing with it. So if you're going all that way, you need to be taking part in prologue. You need to have some sort of ability to be able to do that prologue. And it can scare you when you're actually walking it and you stood on top of those tyres and you're thinking, what happens if I fall off? You just don't have to think about that. A lot of the time, these things ride better than they look. That's what everybody says, and it's right. The number of times that I've gone to places and walked courses, tracks, whatever you want to call them, and they always ride better than they look. Because once you're on the bike, you get a different perspective of things, and you just deal with stuff. But you've got to know your limits and know what you are capable of. So we've got the prologue done, fairly happy with my position. I was in 113th, I think, and then we were ready for day 1 off-road. Let's have a look at day 1 off-road, 5 or 6 minutes.
Morning everybody, day 1 off-road, RedBull Romaniacs 2022, in madness so we trust, and it's early. Just a bit of an update on what happened this morning. Quarter past 4 we were up, 4:45 down at the car outside the digs, the residence where we're stopping, and then 5 o'clock at the paddock, the competitors' paddock, to pick up the GPSs. And then 3 of us, or 4 of us actually, have headed to the initial drop-off point where the bikes are getting dropped off, to then head to the start, which is about a 15 minutes ride on a dirt track from here. So my start time today is 9 minutes past 8, and we're looking at around 109 kilometres, and I think the maximum time's 10 hours, sort of top finishing time should be somewhere in the region of about 5 hours, I think. So the course has been described as some nice flowing trails today, with a few sort of technical points in it, so it should be good. We're finishing somewhere near to Seaview, so as we've got back, hopefully get back sort of early afternoon. That'll give us time to prep the bike, hopefully get some rest, because I don't think any of us are sleeping very well at the moment here because of the heat. So we're trying to get as much sleep as we can, because as the week gets on, the early starts keep coming, and if you're not used to getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or up at 4:15 in the morning, it can really take its toll on your body. So sleep is important. Getting back, getting the bike sorted, getting some food, going to bed early if we can. If you're with a team, they can help you by giving the information as to where you need to be in the morning, etc., from a start point or starting time, position, etc. But we're at like a truck stop where everyone's brought their bikes. I don't think there's many guys riding out to here from the town, because it's 26 kilometres from Seaview is this. So it's quite a logistical effort, particularly for us at Eurotech, when we've had to bring the wagon here to unload all the bikes. We couldn't expect everybody to ride their bikes out from Seaview, particularly if you're riding with super soft tyres. By the time you get here, they're going to be pretty much done. If it was a wet day as well, you can imagine what it'd be like, sort of riding on the trails with half-baked tyres on. So you need fresh tyres right from the off, and just to make things easier. So let's go. Okay.
3, 2, 1,
Can I go with it? Take all this debris with me. Makes good footage. Fuck. Thank you.
So that was day one. Came in fairly good. Yeah, felt strong at the end. Plenty in my legs. You could see at the end of day one, some riders were struggling with fatigue. You could see they were sat down when they should have been standing. They were riding really slow on some of the technical stuff, just trying to, you know, sit down all the time and sort of paddle the way through things where they should have been stood up. Where, excuse me, I was stood up a lot of the time. Right to the very end, I was good. My legs were strong, and yeah, I came in feeling fairly fresh at the end, ready for. I mean, I could have gone on another couple of hours if need be. So I felt I was happy with the way I performed. What I wasn't happy with was the fact that I'd lost about 40 places, but that was down to riding cautiously. The last thing I wanted was to crash out on day one and the event be over. So rode safe, rode to what I could see. No damage to me, no damage to the bike. Yeah, we had a few little moments, but nothing serious, nothing too serious. So day one out of the way, happy. Let's get on to day two.
Hi everybody, welcome back. It is day two off-road RedBull Romaniacs 2022 in Madness We Trust, just at the start area. And just a bit of a recap on yesterday. Not a bad day, lost quite a few places, but I weren't too fussed about that. We had a safe ride, that was the main thing. A few little spills. Just wait till that bike's gone. Yeah, a few little spills, but overall happy. Rode safe, came back in, no damage to the bike as such, and felt really good. You know, I was stood up on the pegs a lot of the time, right to the very finish. Felt fairly fresh. The last bit was absolutely brutal, getting over those boulders, but it just shows what you can do when you team up with people and help each other. So day two now, and yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get to start line. Powder. At this, let's relax. So easy to get it wrong. This powder, fucking hate this powder stuff. You alright? Manual. Now we've got a dust issue. It's clearing now. Me and him were pretty much sort of riding together yesterday. We're doing a bit of riding together this morning. You okay? No, it's times like that you just got to make sure your brakes aren't going to fade because they're getting hot. I've had a brake fade once on a downhill sim or something similar. And there's nothing there. You start freewheeling, you sort of bail off. Ooh, this is seriously long. You all right? You alright, buddy?
Go on, eh?
No, you're alright, get it up if you want. It's okay. Well done.
So that, yeah, day 2, an interesting day, a more technical day, which I liked really. The going was good. I really enjoyed day 2. In fact, I enjoyed all, you know, the following 3 days. Day 1 were good, but day 2, from a technical point of view, great. Day 3 and day 4 as well. But talking about day 2, there's some things that I can't show on GoPro because of the contract that I have with Red Bull and with the organisation. But you saw the washout there to start with. I mean, if there's one thing I would say to anybody, is take a recovery rope, take a toe strap. Now, the one I've got, I made this up before I went. As you know, one of my friends was saying to me, if you've got anything, take a toe strap with you, because it can make things so much easier. And if you're in a situation where you need to recover your bike, or you need to help or team up with a rider, having one of these can make all the difference. So all I've got is it's an adjustable strap with a carabiner on the end, which I can hook onto my loop at the front of the bike or loop on the rear of the bike. And as you saw there in that first clip, it paid dividends. I think I had to use this on 4 occasions. 3 occasions with assisting other riders and them assisting me on particular hill climbs, and then that recovery situation. I think, oh yeah, also on the last day I had to use it as well. I had to lower my bike down a bit of a drop off in the finishing area, where a lot of people were just sending their bikes down and they were going upside down and all sorts, but I used that just to lower it down and prevent the bike getting damaged. So I would say, if you're going to RedBull Romaniacs or doing any sort of hard enduro, have an adjustable toe strap like this. This is what we use, what the bikes that delivered on actually, the KTMs and gas bikes to Eurotech, and I just doubled it up so it will adjust in length if need be. So yeah, a worthwhile investment. Day 2, enjoyed it, technical, again came in feeling good at the end, made up a few places, and again no damage to the bike, no damage to me. Ready for day 3. So let's have a look at day 3.
Hey everyone, day 3 off-road. We're at the start, we're in the clouds. We are about at least 2,000 metres up above sea level. And a fantastic view. Check that out. Day 2, a pretty good day to be fair. A long day, a lot of kilometres in there, about 125 kilometres. 6 hours 46 minutes. One little issue at the start with the GoPro. We didn't switch the GoPro on initially at the start line, but just after the start, washed out on a bit of single track. Had to do a bit of self recovery with the toe strap, but we got going again and pushed on for the rest of the day. Came in pretty fresh. I've got to be honest, my thighs are just a little bit achy this morning. Got some brufen down me, so we should be good. Just want to stop and rest or sit down for a while. The upper parts of my legs just stiffen up a little bit, but I've ridden up here, feel pretty good, and yeah, good to go. So another 125k today. We've actually ridden 25 kilometres from the starter's paddock up to the GPS point, and then another 9 kilometres to here now to the start point on the top of the hill, or top of the mountain shall I say. So 125 kilometres, and then we've got a big ride back from the finish to Seaview, the competitor's paddock there. So it's going to be a long day. It's going to be like 200k on the bike, I would think. The track for the bronze, I think it's going to be pretty much like yesterday, which was quite technical at times. In fact, it was pretty technical all the way through. Some really good riding, to be fair. You were always being tested, no matter what. Some really long downhills, but like I say, no big issues, and it was a good overall day. So let's just keep the pressure on and just keep up with the game plan, steady, 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 right to what I can see, and get to the finish. Hopefully make some places up, so see you in a bit. Okay. Yeah, a bit of front end tuck then. Really humid at the moment. Just get to the point there where my hands were a bit numb. It's relaxing a little bit now. A lot better. Hiya. Thank you. You okay, mate? Thank you.
You okay, buddy? Let's have a look. Yeah, is there blue? Yeah, we're going left, aren't we? Yeah. Not down there, we're not. Let's go back up here. Is this the last checkpoint?
No, you have 3 more.
3 more?
And then it's the finish.
Okay. Okay, mate. All right. That was a close one. I'm going to slide down the side of that tree, a bit of a branch then.
So there's a few minutes of day 3. Now what stood out to me on day 3 was the downhill sections. There was one downhill before service. Now it was a long way to service as well on day 3. I think it was like 88 kilometres to service. The overall track was I think 130 kilometres on day 3. So we're 88 kilometres into the course before we actually got to the service point. So at that point, yeah, I was getting hungry. But what really stood out was the downhill section, what we had to do before getting to service. It must have been a 2,000 feet descent in one go. The hill went on and on and on. I've done some similar hills in Bulgaria, but there's nothing that can compare to the sort of downhills that you've got to do in Romania. When you're in those Carpathian mountains, the descents are just phenomenal. I'm talking there are steep descents as well, and I'm not joking. When you're going downhill and you feel your ears popping, you know you are going some distance, and you are descending a long way as well. So you've gone. When we started at 2,000 meters above sea level on that particular day, and I remember going into that particular downhill, I could see out across the mountains and across the valley where we were, and I could not see the bottom, and it was steep from the outset. There was a lot of it I managed to ride down, but there were some sections I had to get off the bike and actually push the bike and control the bike, bulldog it down a little bit. But a lot of it actually rode down, and when you're riding down that sort of distance, at that sort of descent, and I'm not joking, it was just like you were going into some sort of black hole, because you cannot see the end of the downhill where you're going. It's just, and then I think we must have descended at least 1,000 foot, and I could see the top of some sort of pylon, some like tower, like a steel structure, right in the base of the valley, right in the bottom of the valley, and I must have been 500 feet above it. So we continued descending against some sketchy moments down there, and when you're descending that sort of distance, I mean, it starts to take its toll on your arms, it takes its toll on your legs. You've really got to learn how to manage pain, cramps, that sort of thing. And luckily I don't suffer too much from cramps, but I do suffer, we all suffer from muscle fatigue. And when you are continually, braking, especially using your rear brake, I mean, a lot of the time when going downhill, I could rest my left leg, but there was times I had to be on the rear brake for long distances. So I was using the rear brake, then I was putting having the bike in first gear with the engine off and in gear, trying to let that do some braking for me. But occasionally you have to go back onto the brakes, and you start getting muscle fatigue in your right leg when you're braking all the time. So it does start to take its toll a little bit. So by the time you get to the bottom of the descent, you are physically exhausted, or you are quite tired. So you've got to be able to recover from that quite quickly. I'm not joking, that must have been a 1,500 feet to 2,000 feet descent in one go. And I think a lot of other people made comment on the fact that it was a long way down on that one. But it was good. I loved it. No complaints at all. Loved doing it. It's all character building, shall we say? It's all confidence building. While you're doing these events, you're developing your confidence as a rider. You are developing your skills continually, and getting better at doing things. And you're being more, and you're developing ways of being more efficient while you're riding. So that was day 3, a good day, technical day. Enjoyed all the riding, came in feeling fairly fit, not overly tired. Had strength in my legs, even though I was complaining of some sort of pain in my thighs in the morning. But I soon forgot about that once I got riding. totally forgot about it, and it did not affect me at all throughout the day. So day 4 came along. We had a few complications on day 4. The first one being that I'd missed the opportunity to put my service bag on the service van. That's my bag, what I have a service point with lots of goodies and things in there. And I'd missed the opportunity to do it on the night before, so I had to get to the service van Saturday morning, which meant borrowing the scooter and having a bit of a run around before I actually set off to the start area. So that sort of put my train of thought off straight away. And then secondly, as a consequence of that, my GoPro went into a different bag and it ended up on the truck. So I've no GoPro footage at all for day 4, unfortunately. But what stood out from day 4 is probably the hardest day we had all week, I would think. Some of the hill climbs were more technical. Again, it was a long day. It was 125 kilometers. Day 4 was the only day that I had to actually get off my bike at one point and have 5 minutes of rest, because I was at a point where me and another rider, we helped each other get up a hill climb on a quite a steep section, and we pulled each other up, and I'd used that much physical effort to do it. I was like, I need 5 minutes here just to regroup, get some fluid down, get my breath back before I got riding again. And within 10 minutes of riding, I was pretty much back to normal. I'd recovered and kept going right through to service, no problem. So yeah, that was the only day I really started to sort of feel it on one particular time. But it was short-lived, and you soon forget those sort of strenuous moments once you get your recovery back and you're back in the flow again. They are short-lived. So I got to service, and then in the afternoon, a few more technical sections. The going was challenging all the time, and even on the final run into Seaview to the finishing hill, we actually stopped at a timing point where we were timed from one point to the finishing area. There was that point that I caught up with a couple of guys that I've been trading places with all week. Over the course of 4 days, there's guys that you see regularly. You trade places with each other. You're overtaking each other, passing each other all the time. You're helping each other at times as well. And Manuel Muller for one, or Manuel Muller. We'd helped each other, and we'd passed and traded places with each other continually. And then there was Jack Brotherton and David Taylor from South Africa, both those guys from South Africa. We traded places quite a lot, and I ended up coming into the finish with those two guys. And that was a nice experience of that, getting over the finish line, but also coming in with guys that you've been riding with all week and that you've been sharing experiences with. So yeah, quite an achievement. Came in again on the final day, feeling fresh, still had plenty in the tank. No injuries, no damage. Yeah, we'd had a few moments in day 4, like everybody had, but we soon got over those little spills what you have from time to time, and just kept going, got to the finish, got my medal. We've completed the mission, RedBull Romaniacs bronze class finisher. 137th, I think I came in finally out of 217 riders. So again, mid-pack. Happy that I finished. So no injuries, no damage. Enjoyed the riding, got to the finish. Mission accomplished. That's what it's all about, getting to the end. And yeah, great experience, fantastic experience. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Yeah, I'd do bronze class again as well. I think silver class is another level, which is probably for my sort of ability to ride is a bit too much, because I'd probably end up timing out. Probably won't be fast enough to do the silver courses, but happy in bronze. Really glad that I went in the bronze class. It was enough to challenge me, and I enjoyed the challenge every day. What I will say is that one of the other things that helped me get through the event was getting the right foods down me. You know what it's like when you're going abroad. your body clock's all over the place, your stomach's all over the place. I'll be honest, continental breakfasts just do not do it for me at all. And sometimes trying to get decent breakfast in the morning can be quite difficult. You know, in Romania, if you were stopping in the main hotels like the Ramada, there would probably be, the breakfast bar would be open early morning. But if you're in your own separate accommodation, you have to fend for yourself. And I was in like an apartment in a block. So what I decided was that I would sort my own breakfast out. I had a fridge in the room, so I could stock that up with milk and fruit and things like that, water. But generally on the off-road days, well, in fact before the event actually started, I started with the Ride Prelogue as a supplement. Now this is something it's a beetroot based product, 300 ml of water with the product morning and night, and basically what it does, it helps oxygenate the muscles in your body to work more efficiently. I've been using this for quite a while now, probably since before back in the last year, and I do notice a difference when I've been using this. So what I do is I start taking it 2 days before any sort of prolonged exercise. So 300 ml of water, 2 scoops of preload in the morning, and then the same again on an evening. So I was using this 2 days prior to the event starting, and I was using it morning and night right to the very end. So that's a Ride Prelogue, and again, it just helps oxygenate the muscles in the body, makes the muscles in the body work more efficiently, prevents cramping as well. And like I say, I have noticed a big difference in my well-being after a prolonged ride, shall we say. So that's one thing that I was using. Breakfast, difficult to get breakfast. I have bananas and fruit in my room, but I need the calories. So I decided to go for a milkshake. There's one thing I like, it's a milkshake, a vanilla or a banana milkshake. So I bought this stuff. This is food. That with milk give me a 500 calorie complete meal milkshake. Yeah, everything that I need for my body to get my body going in the morning. It really set me up for the day, did this stuff, really did. And I would also have a banana as well, or another piece of fruit in conjunction with this. So I'd have my preload, I've got my 500 calorie milkshake, and I might have some nuts as well. I might have some nuts or another piece of fruit whilst en route to the start area. I'd also have water as well. I'd also probably drink maybe at least a litre of water from breakfast to starting the day's riding. So that's those. In my hydration pack, I would have a thing called Tailwind. Now that is a carbohydrate and electrolyte endurance fuel mix with added caffeine. So I'd have 3 litres of water with the necessary Tailwind mixed with that, and that is like it is calorific, so it's like a food as well while you're riding along. So you're drinking and you're also getting some calories in there as well, and I found it really, really effective. It kept me alert, and you know, by the time I got to service, I was getting quite hungry then. It's not enough to keep my tummy fully content, shall we say, but by the time I got to service, I was hungry again. So when I got to service, I had my bag. In this bag, I would have enough of this my food to make a milkshake in. So I have some milk in my bag. I have some powder in a different container. Sorry, that container. So I could make a milkshake. Have another milkshake again. And then I also have some more Tailwind as well to top up my hydration pack. I also have some sweets. I've got some Haribo, or these are made as fizzy fishes, but I have some Haribo stuff as well. Strawberry Softies are beautiful. And also, I always had one or two of these. These are called natural energy bars. They're made by Kendall Mint Company, and they're just they're full of protein and carbohydrate, mainly seeds and fruit in there. But I found these to be really effective as well. You know, if I was really at the point, like let's say at the finish of every day, you have the opportunity to get some pasta from the finishing area. But I weren't really into that, to be honest. I generally had one of these at the end of the event, or the end of each off-road day before I then went back to the paddock, and that just really kept me going. Did that. So those are natural energy bars by Kendall Mint Company. Really like them. And then again, it's just once you got back to the paddock, I will go to the shop, which is across the road. I would get some fruit. I like the nectarines there. I'd get some water. And again, if I still felt a bit peckish, I'd buy a sandwich as well. And then on an evening, again, there's not much time scale at times, because let's say, for instance, looking at the end of day 3, we had a long ride back from the finish. I had probably an hour and a half at the very most to get organised before I had to go and find some evening meal. So generally, I was sticking to what I know with evening meals. There was 3 of us going out for something to eat. I generally get a pizza in the evening. It was simple, and it would give me the necessary fuel that I needed. Plus, on top of that, I'd be drinking a lot of fluid, like classic lemonade, water. So, yeah, it's critical. Your body needs fuel, and if you're not getting the fuel, then at some point it will catch up with you, and you will start suffering. So you need to eat. You've got to force yourself to eat at times. So next is Dawn to Dusk, 24-hour solo. That's August Bank Holiday. We've only got like 2.5 weeks away now. We've got the GPX for that event. The GPX is suited to the terrain down there. I've used it before at Walters Arena. We're getting it prepped at the moment with lights and stuff. I've just started that in the last day or so. Excuse me. So yeah, look out for updates on Dawn to Dusk. That's it for me in the meantime. Stay tuned. Hard Enduro Media at Eurotech. See you soon, guys.